N, O, P, Q, R, S, T and U are sitting around a circular area at equal distance between each other, but not necessarily in the same order. Some of the people are facing the center while some face outside. So this is the complex part, right? Out of these, how many persons here? 8 persons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Out of these 8 persons who are sitting around a circular table, some are facing the center while others face outside. Some are facing outside. And from the next point onwards, we have been given a lot of clues here. R sits second to the right of T, T faces the center and so on. So let's try it out. It's going to be a little different than a regular arrangement because we have both inward and outward facing persons. So you have to be careful when you're doing the arrangement there, right? So let me draw a circle and these are the 8 positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If all were facing center, it would have been easy. Because if person is facing center, left is always clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. Similarly, if persons are facing outwards, left is anti-clockwise and right is clockwise. But here it's a mix. So I cannot take it a general rule that left is always clockwise and right is anti-clockwise or vice versa. We have to, find out the left and right based on the position of the person. Is he facing the center or facing outwards? So these are the 8 positions, let's say. Now look at the first point. R sits second to the right of T. R sits second to the right of T. Now right of T would depend on the direction that T is facing. But immediately after that point, we have been given the statement, T faces the center. So the one thing that we know is T faces center and R sits second to the right of T. So let's start with this point. Let's assume this is T's position. T is facing center, right? R sits second to the right of T. What is right of T? When a person is facing center, right is anti-clockwise. So R would come in this position, right? R comes in that particular position. Now go to the next statement. What is the next statement? O sits third to the left of R. O sits third to the left of R. Now comes the confusion. What is the left of R? See, if R is facing center, left is clockwise. If R faces outwards, left is anti-clockwise. But we don't know what direction is R facing. However, what we will do is, we will immediately duplicate this case. In one case, let's take R facing center. In the other case, let's take R facing outwards. Somewhere or other, we'll figure out which of these cases is wrong. Okay. So let me take the other possibility, right? Let me take up the other possibility, right? Another circular here arrangement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is T facing center and here is R. Now in this case, let's assume R is facing center. In this case, R is facing outwards. These are the only 2 possibilities, right? R faces center or R faces outwards. Now go to the point here. It says O sits third to the left of R. Third to the left of R. Since R is facing center, left will be 1, 2, 3. O comes here. R is facing outwards. Left will be 1, 2, 3. O comes here. Right? So we have got the positions of O with respect to R. Now the next point says R and O face opposite direction. See, if R is facing center, O will face opposite direction, which means O will face outwards. In this case, R is facing outwards, so O will face the opposite direction, which means O will face center. Right? Opposite direction means if one person faces center, the other person should face outwards. Okay. Next, immediate neighbors of O face the center. Immediate neighbors of O face the center. Now we do not know who the immediate neighbors of O are, but they should be facing center. So T is already facing center, fine. This person also should face center. Whoever comes here should face center. Similarly, in this case, immediate neighbors of O are not known to us at all, but both of them would face center. That's for sure. Next point, P sits second to the right of O. P sits second to the right of O. Now O is facing outwards. Second to the right of O. What will be right of O? When a person is facing outwards, right is clockwise. So first and second, P would come here. In this case, O is facing center. What is right of O? Anti-clockwise. So P sits second to the right of O, right? First and second, P would come in this position. Alright, so P sits second to the right of O. That point has also been marked. However, one point to be noted is we do not know what direction is P facing. Is P facing the center or outwards? Right, in both the cases you can see the direction of P is not known to us, right? We only know the direction of O, T and R. O, T and R. Alright. Now let's move to the next point. It says U sits to the immediate left of P. U sits to the immediate left of P. Now here comes the confusion, right? What is left of P? Is left of P to be taken clockwise or anti-clockwise? If you look at case number 1, both the sides of P are open, right? We know that the immediate left of P could be clockwise or it could be anti-clockwise. Both are open. So you can come in these 2 positions, right? You can either come here or here. These are the only 2 possible positions for you, right? But we cannot fix it. We do not know what exactly is the answer there. Look at next case. In the next case, the only open position available after T is the clockwise position. What do we know? U sits to the immediate left of P. U sits to the immediate left of P. If I look at case 2, the only possibility is U has to come here because immediate left of P cannot be this side. T is already seated there. So the only possibility is immediate left of P is in the clockwise direction and U sits there. And if you go by this thing, it also becomes clear that P is facing the center because left of P has been taken in the clockwise direction, right? Immediate left of P has been taken in the clockwise direction. So left is clockwise, meaning what? The person is facing the center. So P is also facing center. Yes or no? Now, whether this is actually the position of U or not, we'll figure out. When we try marking the other positions, we'll get to know whether it is satisfied or not. But the only possibility as of now is U comes in this position. With respect to case 1, it's not known yet. U can be either on the clockwise side of P or anti-clockwise side of P. Right? So this point also has been taken. Next, N sits second to the left of Q. N sits second to the left of Q. Now the challenge here is neither Q is marked nor N is marked in this arrangement so far. So it will be a little difficult to try that out. Right? It will be a little difficult to try that out. However, read the next point. Next point says Q faces same as O. Q faces same as O. So wherever Q sits, Q faces same as O. In fact, if I look at the next point also, it says Q is not an immediate neighbor of T. See, all these 3 points are with respect to Q. So let's consider all 3 of them together. Let's take all 3 of them together. What do we know? Q will face the same direction as O. So here O is facing outwards, Q also will face outwards. Second point is Q is not an immediate neighbor of T. Right? And the third point is N sits second to the left of Q. So let's use the combination of all these 3 to find out where Q and N will sit. Right? First of all, I would use this point. Q is not an immediate neighbor of T. Q is not an immediate neighbor of T, meaning what? Q cannot come in this position. This side is anyway blocked. This side also Q cannot come because Q is not a neighbor of T. In the second case also, Q cannot come in this position. Q is not a neighbor of T. What else we know? Q faces the same direction as O. See, O is facing outwards. So Q also should face outwards, which means Q cannot come in this position. So this person is facing inwards. This person is facing inwards. Q cannot come there. Q should be an outward facing arrangement person because Q faces the same direction as O. Q faces same direction of O. Now, Q can either come here or here. These are the only 2 possibilities. Yes or no? Q either comes here or here. And Q should be facing outwards. Remember, Q should be facing outwards. Okay. With respect to case 2, what happens? Q is not a neighbor of T. Okay. Q faces the same direction as O. So O is facing center, Q also will face center. So Q can come in this position. Can come in this position. Or it can come in this position as well. These 2 are possible, right? Because direction is not known. If you take Q in this position, we should mark it as center facing person. Now, I think the only point which will clear out all the things here is N sits second to the left of Q. N sits second to the left of Q. Now try that. See, N will sit second to the left of Q. N will sit second to the left of Q. Let's assume, see, what are the possible positions of Q? Either this or this. Q either comes here or here. N sits second to the left of Q. Let's assume Q is in this position. Let's assume Q is in this position. Remember, Q would be facing outwards. Why? O is facing outwards. So if Q comes here, Q is facing outwards. Left of Q should be what? Anti-clockwise. Left of Q should be what? Anti-clockwise because Q is facing outwards. N sits second to the left of Q. So N will come here. Which means if Q comes here, N comes here. If Q comes here, N would come here. You getting it? You getting it? But is that possible to take up? No. Let me explain this to you, right? Let's assume Q is in this position. Q is facing outwards. Now we know that N sits second to the left of Q. Left of Q would be 1 and 2. N comes here. The problem with this sequence is there were only 2 possible positions for U, and both of them have been blocked by Q and N. Both of them have been blocked by Q and N. So where will U come? U cannot come in this arrangement. Remember, U was supposed to be a neighbor of P. U sits on the immediate left of P. So U is supposed to be neighbor of P. But here, both the neighboring positions of P have been blocked by Q and N. Which means Q cannot come in this position. You cannot take Q in that position. Which means N cannot come in this position. And also, we do not know whether this person is facing outwards or inwards. You're able to follow? We tried that possibility, but that's not the correct thing. So Q cannot come there. Try in this position. Now, so if Q cannot come here, the only place left out for Q is this one. Q should be facing outwards. Remember, Q should be facing outwards because O is facing outwards. Now, N sits second to the left of Q. What is second to the left of Q? First and second. N has to come here. Now, the problem is N and P both cannot come in the same position, which means Q cannot come here as well. Q cannot come in this position as well. So the point that I'm trying to make is all the possibilities are ruled out. All the possibilities for case 1 are ruled out, right? Q cannot come at all. We are not able to fix the position for Q. If you try to fix the position for Q, something else is getting disturbed. So first case is wrong. Definitely the first case is wrong. So which means second case has to be correct. Now try out the second case. What were we trying to find out? N sits second to the left of Q and Q faces same as O. Now O is facing center. O is facing center. So Q also has to face center. Q can either come here or here. Take Q in this position. N sits second to the left of Q. So if you take Q in this position, where will N come? First and second. Can N come here? If you take Q in this position, N has to come in place of R. But is that possible? Not possible, because R and N cannot sit in the same position, which means Q cannot come here. So the only possibility for Q now is this one. Q has to come here because all the other places are ruled out. And Q should be facing center. Why is Q facing center? Because O is facing center. Q and O face the same direction. Q is facing center. N sits second to the left of Q. First and second, N comes here. N sits second to the left of Q. Left of Q will be clockwise now. Now, P, Q, R, N, O, T and U have been marked. The only person left out is S. S has to come here. So I think the arrangement is done. All the positions have been fixed, right? Now what's the last point? Immediate neighbors of R face opposite direction. Immediate neighbors of R face opposite direction, which means if Q is facing center, N should be facing outwards. Done. All the persons have been marked. All the directions have also been marked, right? So if you start from T in the clockwise direction, we have T, P, U, O, S, Q, R, N. And what's the order? I think all of them are facing center except R and N. R and N are facing outwards. All others are facing center. Q, S, O, U, P, T. All are facing center. So that's the final arrangement. That's the final arrangement. Please do not go by the amount of time that I have spent. I was not solving this. I was explaining this to you. When you do it yourself, you will not be reading out so much, right? So a lot of time gets saved. All right. So this is the final answer. Now look at the question asked here. Who sits second to the left of you? Who sits second to the left of you? Second to the left of you. U is facing center. Left of you will be clockwise. So second to the left of you. First and second. S. Option 3 will be the answer.